ndo Sean kwako.
All right. In fact, we'll be looking at those tweets in a little bit more detail. We're talking about the biggest tweets of the week. And of course, that Bayern Munich, whoever's running Bayern Munich's account, dear, oh dear, the way they've been trolling Arsenal, it's been ridiculous. And if you're an Arsenal fan, what a week it's been. 8 goals conceded, only 2 scored against Liverpool and Bayern Munich this week. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. All right, let's talk about rallying, because next week it's the Safari Rally, and changes in the format of the rally. Rather than the traditional 3 days, well, it had gone down to 3 days. The older people, of course, would have known it as 5 days back in the old days. And by the way, some very sad news this week. The death of Bill Parkinson, the former chairman of the Safari Rally. Our thoughts are with his family, and of course, a great driver and navigator in his time. So rest in peace, Bill Parkinson, and of course, our deepest condolences to his family. So as we said, a change in the format of the Safari Rally. It's now down to 2 days, and there's a good reason for that. It is part of the Africa Rally Championship, but the Kenyan Motorsports Federation, looking at the bigger picture, hoping for the Safari Rally to return back to the WRC, the World Rally Championship, in 2019. The World Rally Championship, by the way, in Mexico this weekend. Only 24 entries in Rally Mexico this weekend. Extraordinary, that figure, how low. And there's a good reason for that. I understand it's because privateers now are being discouraged from entering the World Rally Championship, and it's really about the categories of the cars and whether you can afford to rally now at the highest echelon. All right, so we're digressing a little bit. If all goes well this year and the FIA is happy, then it will be a candidate event next year. And if all goes well, then the Safari Rally will be part of the World Rally Championship. So as I mentioned, of course, it is on next week on Friday and Saturday. It all gets underway on Friday morning at the KICC, the traditional ceremonial start. But it ends at a new venue in Nakuru at the Afraha Stadium on Saturday. Let's speak to the two-wheel drive champion, the reigning two-wheel drive champion. He's not actually taking part in the two-wheel drive category this year. Eric Bangi, who's now graduated to the big boys, so to speak. He's taking part with the N12. The Subaru N12. Eric, thank you very much for joining us on Top Sport. First of all, why did you change from two-wheel to four-wheel drive?
Thank you very much, Sean. First and foremost, we believe in graduating and improvement. We have been rallying in the two-wheel drive category for the last 3 or so years, and I think we did all we could do in that particular category. As you noticed, 2015 and 2016 seasons, every event that we finished, we actually won. So we didn't really have much competition, and we thought it is time to compete at a higher level and get some challenge. So we are on to the challenge.
I think you're being a bit modest. Because when you say you had a good season, you actually dominated. We'll come back to you in just a moment. We got a slight technical problem. Makori, if we just go back to you, and if you can just tell us a little bit more about the tweets that are going on there.
Wanatumatuma matwiti yao ndani, kuja nsome 2-3 ndio inakuwa raha. Mark Sanka anasema kwamba we are proud of our rugby sevens. They have what it takes to conquer Vancouver. We call for more sponsors support. Kauli yake hiyo. Soma kwa makini jamani, sije kaleta nuks. Anaitwa nani huyo? Omi Felipe anasema kwamba mbona msukosuko ili hali pesa ipo? Sijui anamaanisha nini hii. Labda lilikuwa ya kandanda, sielewi. Kevin Andrew anasema kwamba I fancy Bandari to win the league due to the signing of former Tusker coach. Huyu ni Paul Nkata jamani. Aya, nyingine hapa. With the Super Cup momentum, Kogalo all the way. Anasema kwamba Odanga, Kogalo itatamba, imefungua dimba ikiwa imeshinda Tusker 1 mtungi lake Jackie Tuisenge katika kuwania kombe la Super. Ngoja naangalia nyingine hapa. Martha Msioki anasema kwamba kizungu hiki jamani haina neno. Anasema kwamba timu ikishinda ligi ipate shilingi milioni 4.5 after all the expenses making no sense at all. Anasema kwamba imuingie kabisa. Lakini anasema kwamba wish Ingwe itambe msimu huu, lakini anaogopa Kogalo Gor Mahia. Haina neno jamani. Great anasema kwamba Tusker will possibly make it again despite a difficult start. Kwamba Tusker ingawaje wamesuasua na ni kama wanashindwa na Nzoia, watatamba msimu huu ingawaje ligi inakaa kuwagomea. Gor Mahia will win the league no doubt. Wakarani nimeisoma tena kwa mara nyingine. Sean, mimi narudi kwako angalau tena uendelee.
All right, thank you very much, Makori. I'm understanding there are developments in that Tusker match. We will, of course, get back to that in just a moment. Let's continue to talk about rallying. We just had one or two technical problems. I think you were being a bit modest when you said you did well last season. You actually dominated the two-wheel drive category.
Yes, thank you. We won most of the events, and we were very happy with that. We were not really pushing that hard. Our competition was not that stiff, and we thought it's better to aim for the top spot for the championship itself. I would say we drove at about 65% of our potential. Given that, and looking at how to improve, we thought it's better to get into the other category where there's a little bit stiffer competition and engage ourselves with the other bigger boys.
All right, so you got the Subaru N12, but you had major problems in Mombasa, having to retire early.
Yes, it's very unfortunate, and it can happen to any driver. These cars, they behave the way they want at the time they want to behave. We had our lower arm come out, quite unusual. Nothing like that we've experienced before. But we had a very good 20 kilometers, I would say. We retired on kilometer 20, but it was a very good start for us. We had started getting into the rhythm with the car, and it's a brilliant machine. Again, we also had a different kind of a problem, mechanical. The engine was not performing at its top condition, and after that we had to overhaul the engine. Actually, we changed the engine.
You actually blew the engine, isn't it? You had to get another engine in, huh?
Not on the course. We had noticed before that the oil was leaking, but nothing really major. We may have survived through the whole course, but afterwards it was not worth for us to really keep on that driving on that engine. So immediately we bought a new engine.
There's been a lot of discontent, so to speak, behind the scenes in terms of the state of rallying at the moment. Job and Cheer, of course, was just here earlier. KCB were the title sponsors last season, but this year there's no title sponsor, so to speak, which means that, okay, Mombasa was a different case, so we had Mombasa Cement waive the fees, the entry fees of the drivers, but a lot of drivers not too happy with the state of motorsport at the moment, particularly in the case of entry fees, and some of the other costs that have gone up now.
Yes, that's true. And I think looking backwards from 2012 up to where we are right now, in terms of entry, our entry numbers have continually come down. For this safari, the upcoming safari, there are about 45 entries. And notably, there are about 12 or 13 international entries, which means that we only have about 32 local entries, 33 local entries. That's quite a dismal number. You remember those earlier days, 2012, 2013, the entry numbers were about 65. In fact, Kenya Motorsports Federation was capping the number of entrants. Secondly, I think it was a big blow for the title sponsor to hang their boots. Well, as much as they're sponsoring in a smaller way, I don't think motorsports is what it was before, and we need to really be very careful to revive it back again to its glory. Yes, we have a lot of talk about bringing it back to WRC standards. Good move, but I think we still have some, local internal issues that we need to deal with. A lot of politics, maybe politics older than most of us, and those are really internal issues that we need to deal with once and for all, so that when we come to that other level, motorsports regains its glory.
Are you worried as a driver? There's almost becoming two different classes of drivers. You've got the likes of Cabras, Kipos, MRT, the multiple rally team of Tapio Laukkanen and Manveer Barian. There's almost a different class. They're almost in a level of their own where there's literally unlimited budget compared to the rest. so to speak?
Yes, and that has been a challenge all along. If you notice, for you to really compete at that top level, either you need to have some money in the bank, or you need to have a very good sponsor. If you look backwards, 2-3 years ago, you'll actually see that the new entrants who came in, most of them are no longer there. They're not competing. After 1-2 seasons, the budget is too much for them, and they can't keep up to it. But for the seasoned teams and for the big teams, yes, they have been very consistent. So if we are to encourage the young upcoming talent, I think we need to look at a totally different strategy at the federations level. I believe Kenya Motorsports Federation can motivate the young drivers in a different way. Maybe pull together sponsors, and give the entrance sponsorship, or come up with more innovative ways of encouraging young talent. Otherwise, with the current trend, and noting that the numbers are actually coming down, I don't think it's a very good sign for the future of motorsport.
Is the Kenya Motorsports Federation on the right track? We're seeing a very hard push to try and get the Safari back into the WRC. Are they on the right track at the moment? You're seeing a change in the format of the rally. Now it's down to 2 days, the Safari rally. What are your opinions on that?
I would say this. First and foremost, I think the federation was coming to its knees in the recent past. A lot of mess has been there, a lot of bad politics has been there, and it wasn't good at all. Yes, currently I think there's been a lot of attempts to bring it up and clean up some of the past mess, but it is a process. It's not something that can be achieved in a day. Moving forward to bringing it back to WRC, I think it's a good ambition, and it's a good way to regain the glory of motorsport. But I'm looking at number one, in terms of the available roads that we have right now, more and more they are becoming less and less. You know, the obvious ranches are Soisambu, Legetia, Inanyuki, and very few to mention. We need to think about it from a futuristic point of view and see how to strategize and to put the stages and the courses in the right places, and where need be, the federation actually really need to invest. If we are not careful, and with the current trend, I don't think we are doing very well.
Just very quickly, we're running out of time. There is a lot of controversy behind the scenes in terms of the recceing and the number of days. I understand that it's been changed. What's the latest on that? Do you know?
Yeah, the latest that I have is that initially we were to be doing recce on this weekend, but there was a change, and now it is down to Wednesday and Thursday. And then there's also a proposal that we only be allowed only one pass through the Soisambu Ranch. I don't know about the other places, but that would be quite tight, given that we are running all the way from Nairobi to Nakuru. It's quite a treacherous route for all of us. And my estimation, it's almost 700 kilometers in a day. It's quite grueling. I don't think it was also very right to have recce on Wednesday and Thursday and rally on Friday. It's too tight. But I guess it'll be the same for everybody. But from an organizer's perspective, I think for some of these things we need to be a little bit more prepared in advance, look at all the scenarios and different scenarios, then plan accordingly. And once you release a calendar, be clear about that calendar. These last minute changes do not work out very well for most of the drivers.
All right, very, very tight. And of course, we do hear about the controversies. We really appreciate your feedback regarding this. Eric Bangi, the reigning two-wheel drive champion, he's taking part with the Subaru N12 this weekend. He's got great sponsorship, by the way. Well done on securing sponsorship with Menengai Group. So he is rallying this next week, actually, on Friday and Saturday as the Safari Rally gets underway. Thank you very much for speaking to us on Top Sport, Eric Bangi.